would like to say that I am not in opposition of this program. I have found nothing so far other than a lot of gossip and a lot of innuendo. I've never seen something taken so out of context in my entire 8 years on this council. The thing has been there for a year and a half. The whole council unanimously have been given approvals. But the first time somebody starts rocking the boat, it becomes a controversy. If it was such a controversy, why wasn't it for a year and a half? Where were all this?
We weren't people? There. That's the problem.
We were there. We're getting reports on this. The Youth Welfare Commission, we're supporting all along. Prominent people in the community have come up. And all of a sudden, somewhere out of nowhere, came this tremendous opposition. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you give your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Tom Drucker, Director of South Bay Project Quest, and my address is 20 Avenue 20 in Venice, California.
Is there any questions that you want to ask Mr. Drucker, who is the program chairman?
Yes, I'd like to ask.
Mr. Serber.
Yes, Mr. Drucker, I would like to know, there are several questions. First of all, I'm concerned there seems to be quite a problem over in Venice. How come you picked Torrance for your Project Quest?
I was invited by St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church to begin to give some lectures on drug abuse as it relates to the family.
I see.
I guess
what period of time do you intend going, just indefinitely?
Each Monday night is a separate program, and my feeling is that when the people fail to benefit from it, the attendance will drop, and we will find that we are no longer helping people, and at that time, I would be the first to discontinue it.
How many people from Torrance are benefited by it?
I think a great many are benefiting.
Well, you think, do you know?
Yes, I mean, I know that. Well, I know how many people come. I know how many people at the Youth Welfare Commission said they were from Torrance, which is a way above the people who said they lived in other cities.
Who are you trying to reach in your program?
We're trying to reach young people. We're trying to reach young people who need the kind of dialogue and the kind of contact with adults and the kind of contact with other young people that's growthful.
We'll be back in a second.
It's fine.
Any coffee around?
I'd like to focus somewhat more on ourselves as we relate to ourself and to other people. And I'd like to begin to do this by having us go through an exercise which I've called a bugging exercise, or the hassle exercise. What it will require is that we break up into two groups, all of the youth in one group and all of the adults in the other. Each group focusing on some things which hassle you about the other group. But keep a distance, though. Keep a generation gap, okay?
You bug me when you don't listen.
You bug me when you tell me to shut up because I'm winning an argument.
You bug me because you're messy around the house.
You bug me when you give me $2 to get a haircut.
We gotta get together.
Bug me when you complain about money.
Bug me when you go to work without a bra.
Wow.
You bug me when you take drugs.
Wait, we got one for that one. Hold on.
What are you trying to do to me?
You bug me when you put down things you haven't tried. You bug me when you jump to conclusions about drugs. You bug me when you think I'm stoned and I'm not. You bug me when you turn on with alcohol and put down people who use anything else.
Are you saying drugs are not as bad as alcohol?
Yeah. Yes, I'm saying.
You are saying that, and what do you base that on?
Drugs, okay.
Certain drugs?
Not
Do you all feel the way Dan does? You sound like you're in approval of drugs.
Certain drugs, yeah.
You are.
You bug me when you think you need to take drugs to have a good time.
Number 25.
You bug me when you think that the reason I take drugs is because I want to have a good time.
Why do you drink? I don't happen to drink. I can't swallow it because I have an allergy to liquor. But
That's
Why
a
do
good
you read
reason
a
to
book?
try drugs.
Why do you read a book?
I do to enjoy it.
Okay.
Reading a book. How can you equate reading a book with taking drugs?
Because we take drugs to enjoy it, you read a book to enjoy it. All right?
She asked you if, I think, something about, are you in approval of drugs?
Yes.
And why?
Yeah.
Am
Where
I
do you get your information on the statement you made about drugs?
Which statement?
Certain drugs. You
Yeah, what makes you
differentiate.
I've heard a lot of opinions.
Yeah,
I
where do
don't
you
think
get-
I'm an authority.
What do you think of the?
But I think I know more about it than you do.
I think
That
I'm
much.
different with you.
Why should you think that? Because
I think you learn more from personal experience than you do from reading. And that's my
Well, the problem with personal experience is you can't step back and look at yourself.
fast ball.
And
Hi.
how do you feel
Crime is-
about their position right now? What does it make you feel like when you hear them talk?
On drugs, I think they're dead wrong.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel sort of bad because I'm upset by their position. I don't like it. It bothers me.
I'd like to say I feel angry, but I don't ever want to feel angry about young people. Being angry is a wasted emotion. I think they need help and they need enlightenment, and I can't get through them by showing my anger.
What's happening in the
I think
group?
sort of uptight in both groups.
What's happening?
Excited.
Okay. You notice?
I noticed we're getting closer together
Right.
physically,
Yeah, we're-
and I feel the need almost to sit down and talk something through rather than just yell at each other.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know. I think we kind of lose something if we stop the yelling.
How are you feeling right now?
I feel more like understanding their viewpoint and trying to explain mine than saying, yay for us and boo for you, you know.
Do you take marijuana?
I don't smoke it anymore.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it then, but I don't need it
How
now.
come you don't smoke it anymore?
Because I'm at peace with myself and I don't need it.
Because you don't need it anymore?
Right.
Did you smoke it because you did need it?
I didn't need it. It was enjoyable. It was an artificial stimulus, and it made me feel peaceful. It served a lot of purposes. It got rid of headaches, got rid of cramps. I used it for that sometimes. But I don't need it anymore because I feel good with
Do you
myself.
feel you've outgrown the need for it?
I haven't outgrown it. I just
What do
took
his
care of my
questions
problems.
make you feel like right now?
He's trying to get an answer out of me that I don't want to give him because it's not.
How does it make you feel?
Like I feel like a test rat or something that's supposed to give this result, you know, but that's not the result.
Guinea pig.
Yeah, a guinea pig.
How about the two fellows in the back row? Do you both smoke marijuana?
Sure do.
Do you enjoy it?
Sure
Do you believe in it?
What do you mean by believing it?
Do you do it to have a good time?
I take marijuana every day.
I think it's enjoyable. I also drink beer. With my dad on weekends, it's no different.
You think marijuana is the same as drinking beer?
Yeah, it just makes me relax.
It makes you feel good.
What about the fact that it's illegal?
Well, beer's
Does it ever
illegal for
phase
me
you
too.
kids?
No.
Beer's illegal for me a bit.
So it's for you.
I drink it anyway, don't I?
Don't, for you people, don't say that everybody over here is condoning drugs and drinking, booze, whatever. I don't. Not that I, well.
What do you have to say to the people around you? Do you feel unity with them? Do you feel distance from them?
Yeah, I'm with these guys because, I'm not saying that, drugs is bad or is worse than alcohol or that they both are bad, but I'm just saying that for me personally, it's not where I'm at.
You're willing to tolerate us and they're not.
Are you saying though that if you smoked marijuana, you wouldn't be as good a football player?
I'm not saying that, but I said from my personal experiences of watching, I've seen that could be the case.
Hey,
That's not the case in every instance, because I know guys, that I play with now, that still, enjoy occasional.
What kind of feelings are with you right now? How do you feel right now?
I think it's out of sight that we can get together at least and rap, say things that we really, want to say. Not keeping them inside like you do at home, as some people say, Well, Lynn's a big bitch, She really is. The way she talks about her. So, I don't know really how you would put it into words.
How's she a bitch?
Well, just the way she is about, drugs and stuff, because, like, as you said, I told her before, like, she gets drunk and she denies it to my face. And, you know, she thinks it's all right, you know, as long as she denies it and plays her games. But yet, you know, if anyone's even known about smoking grass or something, man, you know, like, to her, she feels a cop should pull out his gun and blow his head off right there on the spot, no questions asked. That's the way she is, you know?
That's a heavy thing.
Yeah, she's super heavy as far as things go against her, you know, society.
What is, have you ever smoked grass?
No.
It's right behind you. What,
No, I'm not. I just said this.
What would she do if...
She knows. Like, I got out of jail in September, or last September, for reds.
Put it down, put it down.
And 9 month period, so, you know, she knows everything.
And how would she report you?
We don't talk, you know, unless we get in a fight.
And then you talk when you're in a fight?
Oh, yeah, we talk all right.
Do you yell at one another?
Yeah. And in the background, you hear your dear old daddy taking Mama's place saying, why don't you people stop fighting? I don't see why you do this. You know, I don't fight, you know. Everything's happy with me. And all you can say is like, why don't you take your skirt off and stand up someday, Dad, and look at it, you know, and see what's really happening. And it's really sickening going home and just hearing something like that, you know, and seeing it.
Do you respect them?
No.
Do they respect you?
No.
You think they ever will respect you?
No.
Would you like them to respect you?
Yeah, I think any kid would like his parents to respect them. You know, but like it's not possible anymore. You know, because like I know I can't ever respect my parents because I know they'll never change.
You know they'll never change?
Right.
One of the phases of this revolution is the revolution of the young. This revolution is manifested in many ways, of which narcotics is one. Now, the question that should arise is how much are we as adults to blame? And what are we going to do to get them out of this dilemma? Now, if this thing is working, I can't see where, but the only thing that I'm concerned with, the recreation hall belongs to all the citizens of Torrance.
Does that somehow give Quest a preferential position with regard to the use of the recreation facilities in light of this ordinance, which I do not have before me?
I have a total opposition to the project as it stands, and I think we were in error in the first place in giving a variance in this particular case.
If we go to the resolution and if Project Quest can comply, that's one consideration. We've made a law, and we seem to have given permission that is outside of our own law, our own rules and regulations.
Mr. Johnson, you were one of the seven that agreed.
I was one of them for the purpose, and what I'm saying is that I think I was wrong.
We've called for the question.
We called for the question.
Well,
I want to get. Wait, I want to find out whether we want this gentleman to speak.
Norman Springer. I'm the pastor of the Upper Room Chapel in Redondo Beach. My interest in this, I was invited by one of the members of St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church to come and to listen to Mr. Drucker on the first night that he was to be there. And I was asked because for about 12 years I've been involved with drug addicts in this area. And I felt after listening to what Mr. Drucker had to say that this was detrimental to our community and was against our basic principles that we believe in.
I would like to quote from J. Edgar Hoover from the January 1970 Law Enforcement Bulletin. Where morality and decency are concerned, Americans must not let rationalization and double talk confuse them. There is nothing enlightening, enduring, or progressive about degeneracy. No great nations or stable societies have ever been built on false morality.
I'm here tonight because I work on the narcotic hotline, the Palisades narcotic hotline. I am here because I do not feel, with what is going on in the city of Torrance right now, narcotic-wise, that we can possibly allow this program to be dissolved.
The idea on having a simulation is to give you a chance to project and to fantasize what you would do in a situation given certain constraints.
I like it.
And the idea is to use this as a vehicle to understand some of the issues that are involved in events that we all know about. To really try to put yourself in the other person's place, to put yourself in the other guy's shoes, and see what it feels like to be somebody else. Okay. Does that sound like fun? Okay, good. Okay, we've set the stage. This is the principal's office. Here's the principal with his flag. My role in this is I'm going to be the roving mouth. That means I'm going to walk around behind many of you and say things. I may either whisper it in your ear, or I may say it out loud as if it were your character. The reason that we're all here is Bill, 16-year-old son of Mrs. Dow, has been caught in the John with half a joint. He still had the roach with him. He was caught by a couple of teachers. One, Mr. Geiger, who was out in the hall. Bill was called into the principal's office. His parents were called, and Mr. Geiger, who is Bill's advisor, has been called. Okay? Everyone understand that? The purpose of this meeting is to come to some kind of decision about what will be done.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Geiger. Why don't you give me just a little bit of information about what happened specifically?
Well, Bill here, it seemed that quite a few witnesses and was caught in the John smoking some grass.
You mean marijuana?
And, yes, I mean marijuana. And we're here to see what we're supposed to do with him, whether to call the officials or suspend or what we have yet, you know.
Well, Bill, why don't you give me a little bit of information, specifically what happened?
Well, everybody does it. I don't know why I'm getting all this trouble.
Everybody does it? Was there anybody else in there with you?
Well, not.
Was anybody else in the bathroom with you?
Well, I don't want to get anybody else in this house.
No, I'm just asking you. Was there anybody else in there? I'm not even asking for names. Was anybody else in the bathroom with you?
Well, the people in the bathroom all the time.
And you mean you brought the marijuana cigarette
Bill,
to school?
now tell the truth. You know, we've always taught you that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the people are in and out all the time.
Do you understand how severe this is, Bill?
I just don't understand. Everybody smokes.
Why don't you have these areas patrolled before school so this kind of thing doesn't go on?
Why don't you bring up your kid so he doesn't go out and smoke marijuana cigarettes? I'm going to say this. I think he should be thrown in prison.
Thrown in prison?
Or he's thrown in a reform school or something of the like. That's where all this type of student belongs.
Then you'd have to throw all your kids in reform schools.
Not all the kids
they
smoke
all
marijuana.
smoke.
And I'll say this. In order for the forest to be green, the trees must be green. And if you're going to allow one marijuana smoker to participate in the school, he's going to spread it like a weed. He's going to choke all the decency out of the rest of the students.
That's the school's fault. You have no discipline in this school. You could keep this under control. It's your fault.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to demonstrate just how much discipline we have by eliminating your son from this particular school. Then we're both going to be happy.
Hey, you know, you're acting like an ass now, because, like, you're trying to say Bill is really bringing all the kids down, but, like, really, you're jumping on Bill like, wow, I don't understand. He's not being able to say what he's feeling now, and it's
How do you expect to help Bill by what you're doing?
I'm not concerned as much with the person that smokes marijuana as I am for the other decent students in the school. And what I would like to do now, my first order of business is protecting those students. And I feel that if we allow people like Bill to go to the school, then the rest of those students won't be protected adequately.
You're not going to protect. If you take Bill out of this school and make it known that he smoked marijuana, I'm going to have a hearing. I'm going to drag the whole school, and especially the principal and the teacher. The teacher's guilty, too. Bill never learned this at home. Bill never would have done
Let me ask you a question,
if he didn't
Mr.
learn it
Dow.
at school.
Let me ask you a
I think it's
question.
fair shake around here anyhow.
Let me ask you a question, Mr.
Why
Dow.
aren't you? Just a minute ago, you said you weren't as much concerned about Bill, but he's one of the students in this school. You should be equally concerned about all the students.
I have
especially because
3,000
he has a
students to be
problem.
concerned with. I can't be as concerned for Bill as I can for the other 2,000.
Well, you better be.
Maybe if the teachers were a little bit more strict on the subject of marijuana, then you wouldn't have problems with Bill in the bathroom.
That's right. It's the school's fault. He never learned this at home.
I don't condone using drugs, but since it's already happened and this is a
People
situation,
like you that make it a problem. Marijuana isn't a problem. You make it a problem.
This happened in your school.
I don't have a problem.
This didn't
Don't
happen
you have
at
any
Bill's
respect for the
home.
law? Does it matter? Are we discussing a moral issue here, a religious issue on whether marijuana is good or bad? No. We're discussing whether the law is right. I didn't make the law. I'm not going to change the law for you. My responsibility here is to enforce the law and to apply it to the school.
Marijuana
Who
doesn't
said you're
hurt me.
supposed to be a policeman?
I'm applying it to the school. What do you think my job is?
Your job is, if any of the students do have problems, is to figure out ways to alleviate the problems and help the students, still keeping them in a school atmosphere so they can continue to learn. If you put them in reform school, what's going to happen? You think he's going to learn anything? No.
I will say this.
Wait a
My
minute,
job
let
is
me
to
say
pick up
something.
after counselors that slough their job. Apparently,
You only do it when it comes out in the open, that's all. Just when it comes out in the open. Otherwise, you're so permissive, these kids get away with murder.
Well, he's already said that he smoked marijuana at your house. Apparently, he's gotten
He
away
never
with
said he smoked it in the house.
Have you smoked
He
marijuana
wouldn't
at
be
your
allowed
house,
to
Bill?
smoke it in
That
the
has
house.
nothing to do with what goes on
I
here
beg
in
your
school.
pardon. I
Your
asked
only
Bill a
jurisdiction
question.
is here in school.
Now, Bill, I asked you a very simple question, simply a yes or no answer. Have you ever smoked marijuana at the home?
Yes.
All right.
Because all the kids smoke marijuana. It doesn't hurt
Look,
me.
I'm not here
It
to
doesn't hurt
discuss
us.
whether marijuana is good or bad. I don't make the laws.
Then why are you giving me such a bad time about it?
The
This time you don't
government,
care.
the government is against marijuana. All right? My only job is to apply those laws. I'm doing the best that I can, Bill. If I don't apply it in your case, I can't apply it in anybody else's case, and soon this cancerous growth will spread throughout the entire student body. Then we won't have any control at all. I'm going to try to nip it in the bud. That's all I can do. And that's why you're not going to be going to
Well,
the
you're not
school
being
very
fair
much
to me.
longer.
I don't feel like you're being fair to me.
You already said you didn't like the school, Bill, so apparently it won't hurt you too
Right.
much.
So now, this is the reason I don't like the school. That's all. They don't care about us. They don't care about me. I just as soon go to another school.
I've already made my decision. Bill will be removed from the school.
Well, I'm taking this further, boy. You're going to see.
That's fine. You
You're gonna
take it
see
further.
my
Meanwhile,
attorney,
I'm making my
and
decision.
And there's going to
Mr.
be a
Dow.
hearing on this.
Mr.
Believe me.
Dow.
I know some of the school board members, and I'll see that there'll be a
I'm
hearing.
truly impressed, Mr. Dow.
Okay. The simulation is over with. What does it feel? How do you feel, for instance, how do the teachers feel about the principal? How does the student feel about the parents? How does the parent feel about the principal? In other words, how do you...
How we really...
Yeah. What's that role make you feel like?
I felt terrible because I was more concerned with what was going to happen to me than what was going to happen to Bill.
I felt really bad because if this was really a school situation and there's such uptight principals, I don't even know how teachers can teach under this kind of a situation. I don't feel like teachers are that all permissive, and I think the first thing uppermost in a teacher's mind is help the students, especially the students with problems. That made me feel bad.
It was a kind of a terrible feeling not to be able to talk. There's just no way I could say anything.
Really, no one was on your side, were they?
Well, I didn't know.
No one was concerned about you.
Yeah.
About you as an
I just felt like I was a piece of meat in the middle of, and they were just quarreling over it.
Well, when I asked the principal what he thought of the principal, and I felt really like an ass. And it gives us such an indefensible position, and I'm trying to make something out of it. But I didn't make it up, This is my attitude. This is what I feel they really do behind those closed doors. I've been behind them, but not for that particular thing, all right? But the attitude is still the same, It's still, shut up, kid, I'm trying to talk, It's just really a bad feeling.
I feel, like if I were that parent, I would be really shocked finding out all these things about my kid that I didn't know before, that he'd really been, doing all these things behind my back. I felt really bad because of what was going to happen to me in the community, things like that.
Did you feel the principal was being fair?
No, I felt he was just kind of manipulating everyone.
Did you feel the teacher was on your side?
Well, I felt he was on my kid's side, but he didn't really care about me.
You said midway through that you felt like you couldn't talk to the principal. What was that feeling like?
It was just, a realistic thing,
It was realistic?
And to a point, because, throughout the parents and the principal and, through the teachers, it's a shame, but it's the truth, No one can say anything, really. It's just, everybody's worried about them, and it's in a rat race, and it's the truth. It goes that way during life, too. You find more and more all the time.
Like I've been teacher, and I've had kids in that position, but it's good experience to know how it feels to be in there.
Did you learn something from that?
Well, it ruined my day, number one. Yeah, I think I do. I think if they if I don't listen to them any more than they were listening to me, why? I've been doing some violence to some kids.
Okay, do you feel ready to stop?
I'm Richard Abshire. I reside at 19905 Anza. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, if you send the mafia to investigate crime, you sense rather than perceive that the outcome of that investigation is preordained. The only issue at hand is, shall Torrance continue to subsidize social experiments with the minds of Torrance children and at the expense of Torrance taxpayers? We've been good neighbors to these folks for about a year and a half now. If they've really got something good going for them, it's entirely possible that they could approach local government in their own communities and receive favorable action. Gentlemen, I think we've had enough. Thank you.
All right, roll call on the vote.
Project Quest is no longer in Torrance. A small group of people managed to create such an oppressive atmosphere at our meetings that it became impossible for us to continue our open dialogue. We moved to a neighboring community, and many of our participants followed, as did many of our critics. The conflict continues, and the issues remain unresolved.